In my speech, I will address 3 questions which have been raised from us since we declared the People's Struggle Alliance. The first question is, what is the People's Struggle Alliance and why did we bring about this alliance for these current elections? And secondly, are we trying to break votes? That's an interesting question which people have been asking. Are we trying to break votes? And thirdly, do we represent the Aragaliya? These are the 3 questions which have been raised from us from several quarters. So I will answer all these questions in my speech today. Firstly, what is the People's Struggle Alliance? The People's Struggle Alliance is an alliance of 3 political parties: the Socialist People's Forum, the Frontline Socialist Party, the New Democratic Marxist-Leninist Party, and also several activists from the Aragaliya who are very much attached to or who are convinced by left principles, or they would identify themselves as left-leaning. So all these sections and groups of people came together and political parties came together and we formed the People's Struggle Alliance. From the day we formed this alliance, we have been saying we are with the people. We are with the people, we are the people, we are with the people. But many people are saying that. Even Ranil Wickremesinghe is saying that he is with the people. So who is this people we are representing? And as the previous speakers, Sureka and Rajiv Kant have said, we represent working people, we represent farmers, we represent fishers, we represent workers in the manufacturing sector. We represent students who are struggling and fighting for free education. We represent medical professionals who are fighting for universal free health. We represent oppressed groups of people, including minorities who have been cheated by consecutive governments. We represent the plantation workers who are today fighting for a decent living wage and who have been cheated once again by not only the government, but by the business elite. Also by the business elite. And we also, in our proposals, we have also reached out to people across the world, to people struggling in the Palestinian people, to Bangladeshi students. So our manifesto and our proposal also looks at internationalism, but not in a way which perhaps the establishment looks at internationalism, not perhaps in the way we are forming alliances with states, but rather we are forming alliances and we are reaching out to people and to students and to marginalized and oppressed groups of people across the world. So that is the people we decisively represent. The second question which is asked is, why did we form this alliance and are we trying to break votes? One of the things which most of us in this alliance we noticed is that there are many political parties who are campaigning, who have been campaigning for months and perhaps years, but we don't know what their political manifesto is. We don't know what the idea on the economy is. We don't know what the idea on minorities is. Of course, they go and say various things in various places, but we do not know for sure what the idea is. But within the last few months, many of us have gotten together and we have come up with a political manifesto. And the reason why we were able to do it in such a short time is because all of us have been involved in people's struggles. All of us have been involved with struggles for social justice, for economic justice, for racial justice. So it did not take a very long time for all of us to come together and come to a common consensus. So we have put forward a concrete political manifesto. We have put forward an economic policy. We have put forward a policy to resolve the national question. And we have put forward a policy for our international politics, which other groups and peoples have not, other groups and political parties have not done. So that is what defines us, that is what differentiates us, and that is the reason why we have formed this political alliance. Another reason is that there are few things which have been missing in electoral conversations. And we have addressed that. In our 5E plan, we have put forward a policy to exit IMF, end austerity, eliminate suppressive laws such as PTA, OSA, the Economic Transformation Bill, end exploitation of marginalized and oppressed groups of people, and establish people's power. And this is exactly what we asked during the Aragaliya. You remember the 6-point plan which came out in July 2022, where people asked for free education, free health, a future based on accountability for killings and disappearances, a future based on economic accountability, bring back the stolen money. So when all of us came together, when this alliance came together, one of the things which we decided to take forward is the political demands of people who came together, 1 million people who came together during the Aragaliya, which was based on principles of social justice. And that brings me to the next question, or the next criticism which we are facing. Do we represent Aragaliya? No, we do not. We don't claim to represent the Aragaliya, because the Aragaliya consisted of 1 billion people, and they came from different political ideas and political backgrounds. So we can't claim to represent a movement of 1 million people. But one of the things which we are very clear on is all of us, absolutely all of us in this alliance, stood in the grounds, stood in the Galle-Face grounds. We fought with 1 million people. We were part of the movement which got rid of the executive presidency. So when we came together in this political alliance, we have a right, all of us have a right and a duty to take forward what never finished in the Aragaliya, because Ranil Wickremesinghe brought the Aragaliya to a military defeat. So all of us, every single one of us in the alliance who represent the Aragaliya, who was part of the Aragaliya, very much we were on the ground. We brought with us our politics, which is also the politics of the Aragaliya, and we made sure that this was part of the political manifesto of the People's Struggle Alliance. So we decisively stand behind the political demands of the Aragaliya, and we are not going to apologize for it. Lastly, we have informed our presidential candidate, which is Comrade Nuwan Bopage. He is not an unfamiliar face to all of us, simply because he was a person who has been with the struggle. He's not someone he's not just a face who is coming and saying various things to us. He was part of political struggles. He was part of political struggles in the south, in the plantations, in the north. So he comes from that struggle of tradition, he comes from the tradition of struggles, and that is one of the reasons we have nominated him in the presidential debate to represent all of us. So he's not just a face. I want that to be clear. He is not just an individual, he is not just a face. He represents the struggles which we all stand for. And that is why we have nominated him as our electoral candidate. One last thing. Now we have put forward a political plan, a manifesto, which is representing the rights of workers, of plantation workers, of fishers, of farmers, of students, of so many groups of people who have been left behind for this long, for the last 40 years, by consecutive governments. So we decisively do not represent the elite in this country, and because of that, as you know, the elite of this country, whether it be the political elite or the business elite, will not fund our work, will not finance our work. So we are reaching out to you. We are reaching out to ordinary people like us. We are reaching out to small businesses who are struggling in this moment of crisis, in this economic crisis. And we are reaching out to all of you to contribute financially and give your moral support and contribute financially to this manifesto, to make sure that this manifesto comes to power. Because without your support, we will not be able to take this message across to thousands and millions of voters across the country. So we are, at this moment, on behalf of the Alliance, I'm also making this request from you. And finally, what we want to say is that the Alliance consists of people who have been part of struggles for decades. Our involvement in the Aragaliya movement did not start with the Aragaliya movement. We have been involved in struggles for decades. And so this political manifesto is not just words. This is something which all of us in the Alliance have lived through. We have fought for. We have fought for a system change. We have fought for a system overhaul. And we have fought for a state which is based on principles of social justice and which puts the people's interest in the center of policy making. And I hope all of you and people across this country will stand with us and make sure and vote for us and make sure that this political manifesto will come to power in the next elections. අරගලයට ජය වේවා, පොරාටத்துக்கு வெற்றி.